I want to pause to note the significance of this day, the 7th anniversary of the 2001 terrorist attacks on our nation. The chairwoman, I know, lost many constituents and friends on that day, and our thoughts and prayers are with those who lost their lives and were so affected by that tragic event, and with their families and our brave servicemen and women who are serving our nation, both in this country and around the world. Now, Madam Chairwoman, I want to say that I do appreciate your holding this important hearing on extending the temporary tax provisions commonly known as tax extenders. We have an outstanding panel of experts to advise us today, and I look forward to all their testimony, and a special welcome to Tom Shepard, who's from my district in Cincinnati, Ohio, whom I'll introduce later. Small businesses as well as working families are experiencing difficult times. Gas prices are high, food prices are rising, and people, unfortunately, are losing their homes. Tax relief is absolutely critical to small businesses, particularly in times of economic uncertainty. According to a recent NFIB survey, small businesses ranked federal tax on business income as one of their top 5 concerns. There are many steps that Congress can take to alleviate the tax burden, including eliminating the current tax code and starting over. Our 61,000-page tax code, which has not had a substantial revision since 1986, should, in my view, be terminated. The code's complexity is staggering. For small businesses, most of them, which do not have the resources to hire technical tax experts, it can prove difficult to navigate. According to the Small Business Administration's Office of Advocacy, small businesses with fewer than 20 employees spend over $1,200 per employee to comply with tax paperwork, record keeping, and reporting requirements. Until we terminate the code and start over, which doesn't seem to be on the near-term horizon, unfortunately, Congress must act every year to renew the temporary tax provisions that expire, that they're renewed from year to year is the way we've been handling them up here. This year, Congress must again take up legislation to renew these provisions. This is, in my view, a very poor tax policy and makes it extremely difficult for any business, especially a small one, to budget and plan for the future. However, these temporary tax credits are critical for small firms to grow and create the jobs that help to strengthen our economy. These are the incentives that companies use to develop new technologies, hire new workers, and invest in their communities. Particularly in a time of slowing economic growth, small companies simply cannot absorb tax increases. Renewing the temporary tax provisions is important, but we must also make the 2001 and 2003 tax cuts permanent. They are scheduled to sunset in 2010, so not far down the road. And if they do, on January 1st, 2011, the American people will face the largest tax increase in history, a $683 billion increase. According to the Joint Committee on Taxation, failing to extend these cuts would cause 31 million families with children to pay an average tax increase of $1,025 because of the reduction in the value of the child tax credit from $1,000 down to $500. Almost 30 million married couples will have to pay an average tax increase of $686 resulting from the return of the marriage penalty. 91 million taxpayers will have to pay an average of $498, so almost $500 more because of the loss of the 10% tax bracket, which is lower than most. 5.5 million taxpayers who were benefiting from the deduction for student loan interest and employer educational benefits will have to pay an average of $286 more in their taxes. 2 million families who adopt a child will pay an average of $156 more in taxes. 28 million savers and investors will pay an average of $1,800 more in taxes due to the end of lower tax rates on long-term capital gains and dividends. The 2001 and 2003 tax cuts included an across-the-board cut for all working Americans, which is vital since 85% of small businesses file as individuals. According to the Heritage Foundation study, the failure to renew these cuts would cost the Cincinnati area, my community, the economy there, approximately $200 million annually in economic growth, including 1,900 lost jobs and a tax increase of $1,300 per taxpayer per year. At one of our committee hearings, the issue of flow-through income when business owners include company revenues on their individual income tax returns was raised. As one small business owner testified, quote, "Many folks in Congress think they are raising taxes only on the wealthy, but I'm here to tell you that these rate increases will strike at the heart of small businesses," unquote. One final point. For the overall health of the economy, Congress must curtail wasteful federal spending. Cutting spending and working towards a balanced budget is critical, not only for our economic security, but also for our national security. These steps would help small businesses through our current economic challenges. I look forward to hearing the recommendations of our distinguished panel of experts here this morning. And Madam Chairwoman, I again want to thank you for holding this important hearing, and I yield back the balance of our time.
Thank you.